Let's just relax for 5 minutes or so before satsang. Close your eyes. Try to sink into your belly in whatever feelings you have in your chest and your belly. Try to feel love for those feelings and acceptance. Let me tell you, the best meditation is one you practice every day, where you do one of two things. The first one is very hard for Americans to deal and Europeans. Maybe not so hard for other countries, but just fucking relax. Feel your neck and your shoulders. Those are common areas where you carry a lot of tension, or most people do, or a lot do. Let your attention go lower into your chest, into your lungs. And sort of join your lungs with the breathing. Just pay attention to your breathing. Not real tight attention, but a relaxed, kind of accepting, loving acceptance of the experience of sitting in quiet. In meditation, the only effort you do is to actually sit. Close your eyes, relax, and try to get a feeling for all of you at once. Wrap your attention around what's happening in your body. What feelings are there? Can you find a point of pain in you somewhere? Where something is trying to get your attention? Something in your stomach or in your chest, in your heart. And even if you don't know what it is, you just stay there with it. Relax and feel yourself. Relax and, in a sense, accept yourself. You can't do anything stupid like say, I'm accepting myself, and not do it. You have to do it and really not say it. In that sitting in silence lies the key of doing anything when it comes to meditation. You gradually open yourself up to more and more new experiences coming into your area of awareness. Some of them potentially painful, as you deal with past feelings of being a failure, or of being ignored by your parents, or being unfairly charged by them doing something. Everything, in a sense, wraps around your early experiences in your family and of yourself. But somewhere along the line, between first grade and going for your doctorate at medical school, you've encountered trauma, disappointment, fear, as well as acceptance and happiness. And the feeling of happiness is all too rare for most people. Now, however, I really don't give a shit. So things come to me sort of naturally because they know I'm not going to disrupt them. I'm not going to fight with them. If they want to make me feel something, I'm open to it because there's no feeling I'm frightened of anymore. I felt them all. And I sort of enjoy the change. Now, I'll tell you something. I'm 81 years old. I've become happier and happier the last 10 years, partly because I'm not working, and partly because financially I'm okay. I own 2 houses, free and clear, pay no rent, get rent from the other unit, so I don't have to work. I spend a lot of time during the day just farting around, watching television, meditating, but I don't read anymore. I hate reading. I hate what they say. I can't even read Krishnamurti anymore. I can't read Muktanand anymore. To me, they're just bullshit. Show me somebody that struggled and doesn't have all the answers, and you'll find a friend there to meet you. And you talk about it. The more you talk about these hidden feelings and these pains that haven't surfaced yet, the more you'll like yourself and the deeper friendship you can have with others. Talk to them about your problems, and they talk to you about their problems. Hopefully, you don't do it at the same time. Don't call Mark and say, Mark, what's your problem? I feel like helping today. I'd call Michael, but he'd turn the camera off. Like now, say, leave me alone. Relax. Let go of everything. Let go of your need to find a job, your need to graduate, your need to please a boss or your parents. Meditation is learning about yourself as you are, really, not as you think you are or not as you want yourself to be. It's accepting yourself, but in order to accept yourself, you have to feel yourself. And that means you have to risk it, risk feeling some pain. Now, I've been open like this to my own self, my own feelings for lots of decades. But still, the unfolding has been very slow. I couldn't really say I was happy until a decade ago. And in the last couple of years, I feel the happiness deeper and deeper. And it comes from not fighting any part of myself anymore, but just allowing anything to arise in me and to arise and enter my heart in the center of my chest. You can feel that point yourself. It's right about here, right underneath the this bone, whatever it's called, I forgot. This is where pain comes to you, emotional pain, in your stomach and your heart. And an inability to feel that means you have a long time to go before you can break through into a happy place. Now, I know I'm happy, but it's really hard to describe what it's like being happy or how I got here. I can say, yeah, it's from doing meditation for many years. And by meditation, I mean relaxing, sitting or lying down, and just watching everything that comes up. Be aware of any kind of pain or tension anywhere in your body. If you feel it in your neck, try to relax your neck. If you feel it in your back, try to relax your back. But don't make it an epic struggle to overcome the tension there. That makes it impossible for you to find the relaxation. You just are aware of the tension in your body, wherever it is. And you make attempts every now and then to consciously relax them. And these issues then can come to you one at a time in their own way. Your own inner life begins to unfold. All your life, or most people's lives, they've been fighting, having certain discussions with people or parents or whatever, because they've been frightened what it means for their future and for their now by pissing people off. But first of all, test it on yourself. Do you piss yourself off? I don't think so. What you do is you resist and say you can't do it. But you can do it. But it takes repetition, being honest with yourself. To feel the pains that arise in your body when you just are quiet and feel inside. Meditation has two aspects. The one of looking. It feels like you're looking for things in your head or in your gut or in your chest. And the other aspect is just feeling it. And those two things have to eventually come together. Looking at your chest and feeling the pain in your chest or your neck or your stomach or your back. And then stay with that pain. Feel the pain. What the hell does it feel like? What do you think it represents? Is something talking to you inside about that pain? Just learn to relax. That's the first part. So you can do a relaxed meditation, even though you feel a lot of tension. And the more you relax, the more that tension will reveal itself and eventually unwind, usually very abruptly. That which is tense will relax. And you do it over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. You become a warrior, almost begging for the pain to come to you so you can know what it's like. You can know what it feels like instead of the stabbing pain you have, which keeps you from doing things. The stabbing pain turns into something that you'll bring into your consciousness. And when it lays there bare in your consciousness, that's when it can unravel. You become more and more naked. You become more and more a vessel for pains that go through you. And one by one, each time there's a relaxation, you become more open. You're no longer closed off and using tension to not feel. And somebody that's very open, even if a bullet hits them in their shoulder, they will feel it, but they're not frightened by it. They accept it. And the other one is find a cat or two. Befriend the cat. Or maybe a dog, but dogs don't tend to relax that much, especially when they're puppies. They run around. But a cat can lay on your lap even if you feel miserable. And just watching that cat, feeling that cat against your body, takes away the pains because you're relaxing. When you relax, the pain comes out more strongly. And you'll find the pain totally able to be tolerated. You almost beg the pain to come to you because you want to be finished with it. So you make the decision, whatever arises, as my love, my acceptance, my openness. No, I can keep bullshitting you all day like this, which is really telling you about my path, but it's probably not your path, but it's one you can follow. But each one of us has a specific way of doing things, or we'll develop that in the future. So don't take my way if you're trying it and it doesn't seem to work that well, that you're a failure. It's just that you have your own way of unfolding in this work of self-exploration and self-purging. And someday will come when you feel you've relaxed enough. You don't feel any pain anymore. But you begin to be able to feel yourself as an energy body. And it's really quite special to be able to feel yourself as an energy body. The energy body still is not you, but it's a layer underneath everyday life, how it's usually lived by most people, with small talk, reluctance, lots of pain of all kinds, emotional outbreaks, fear. But after you've been all through that, your body will get softer and softer when you're sitting. And it'll become more and more comfortable for you to feel. So the tensions that you carried in your body are now dissolved. And you can find the emptiness inside and find out it's not your enemy. It's where you want to go. To be free of all of that inner clutter of unresolved pain, unresolved issues, and inabilities to feel emotions. Just sit and feel yourself. Where can you find yourself? When you look, what do you find when you look and feel inside yourself? Where do you find the tension? You find it in your shoulders, across the back, or a little below these muscles here, whatever they are. I forget what they're called, trapezoids, deltoids. No, deltoids are shoulders. But the muscle groups change as they go down the back, and depending on what level they connect to the spine, the longer the levels, the stringier the back muscles are. And the shorter they are, the more stout they are, the more thick they are. And the more hurt they are when they're uptight. And you want to avoid that uptightness and feel what your back is like without any tightness whatsoever. That's the whole aim of doing this kind of meditation on yourself. You don't do a meditation on koans like, who am I, or what is the sound of one hand clapping? That's a specialized school. Good koan work is really hard. It was for me because I had no idea what we're trying to attain with each of them, each of the meditations. But I was certainly shocked to one day feel that I had disappeared. I was no longer there. I was emptiness. And there's such freedom in that experience, even though it doesn't last that long, a day, 2 days, a month. And then you're back to where you were before, a little diminished in the total stress. But you got to try to learn to live gently. Don't bite your lip and compress and tense up to do it. Just the opposite. You get looser by letting go everything. Just have that continuously, the feeling of letting go. And you can feel your body relaxing as you're feeling it. And your body can then, attention can then move to different points of your body and different kinds of tensions and realizations come to you. They have nothing to do with the classical koan system. I think the best way is to bypass koans and do this kind of work of inner exploration of the tensions in your body and any knots in your memories or avoidances in your memories. Just keep being self-aware for the tension in you. And eventually, the tension suddenly releases, a whole large muscle group at a time. And the tension comes back and you release it again, and tension comes back and you release it again. And each time, there's less and less problem finding what's underneath. But if you're a beginning meditator, you have absolutely no idea what's going on inside of you, except perhaps ideas gleaned from reading stories of early Zen masters or Buddhist monks or Hindu monks and what they experienced. They seem to be so gigantic in their ability to hold on to meditation than you are. You feel like a failure just looking at them and reading about them. But you got to realize this is a new thing for you, to use introspection to release yourself from your own self-imposed nooses. Noose. Just be aware of everything in your body, where the tensions are, where the worry is, where the pains are. And just openly accept them and be open to them. Deliberately so. Learn how to release yourself from inside, not using the release technique or any other technique, but just being aware, increasingly aware of sinking your attention into different parts of the body, different depths in the body. And you do this for 40 years or so, and you're done. How many more years for you, Mark?
I don't know. I just keep doing what I'm doing.
You're really good. Keep it up.
Thanks.
Tom, you look like you go really deep. Do you?
Sometimes, yes.
And what's it like when you experience?
The most remarkable? Is that your question? The most,
What do you experience when you go deep?
um,
What do you feel?
and I'm aware that there's nothing. And it's beautiful. It's darkness. That's what it's like.
Oh, come on. Go a little more.
Okay, on another
Give me
occasion.
examples.
Examples?
Yeah. Past experiences when you went deep. What were they like? Was there any releasing that you felt? Have you felt better over the last year because of meditation?
I've been meditating since about,
My guru is visiting me.
yes.
Hi, Radha.
I started with intensive yoga about 1975 and meditation in 1980. Tried different pathways, so I've tried different things. The most astonishing things I can recall, one of them was I was at an ashram in India. I'd been fasting for a week, inadvertently because I got food poisoning. I went to an outdoor restaurant and bought a loaf of bread and waited before eating it, and found myself looking out across the restaurant. There was maybe 50 people there outdoors. And suddenly I realized that I couldn't differentiate them from me or anything from me. It's just astonishing. With the astonishment, of course, I promptly popped out of the state of mind. It seemed familiar. It seemed like what I'd been looking for since I was 10 years old and I drowned.
10 years old and what?
10 years old, I drowned. I was pulled out and resuscitated.
Wow.
I remembered what happened in the dark time because I know that was happening when they first sat me up. But then suddenly that stopped and I couldn't remember what happened in the dark time anymore. But then we walked back around the lake to the camp we were in. And I was astonished because I knew nothing around me is real. Nothing is real. That was so.
Have you felt that feeling, nothing is real, more and more over the years?
Not as a progressive stream, but yes. I spent years trying to figure out what the hell to do with it. I didn't know anybody who knew anything about what I'd experienced. I'd been in the Episcopal Church as a child and was happy there. And now, shit, nothing made any sense. I remember I struggled with whether I had no idea what was going on. All I knew was that I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Remember, I didn't get into meditation. I got into yoga when I got into graduate school. It was my method of surviving graduate school. With some intensive body work, and that began to open me up. I was very, very rigid, extremely rational only, partly because I'd had a head injury of my right parietal. That's where we process emotions. So I was trying desperately to understand the world with just logic. I remember one day in graduate school, I was having a debate with somebody, and they were trying to corner me logically, and I said, I'm not going to let you corner me logically. That's not the whole world. You're a fool. I know it. You don't. Let's not bother.
Has your attitude towards logic and thinking changed substantially at that point, somewhere along that line?
Yeah, right there. It was like suddenly shifting gears. It was like, okay, I've got to have both. I've got to have the whole picture. I've got to have feelings. I got to have body awareness. I've got to have all those things, which I tried to do without because they weren't reliable because of my head injury. And now I'm very comfortable with all that. It seems like I'm together for the first time. Been that way for a long time. I remember, maybe you're familiar with Sinjin Young.
With what?
Sinjin Young.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would come to Topeka about 4 times a year, and I would study with him for extended weekends. And that was very helpful, very, very change producing. So finally, he said to me, Tom, you're an athlete. You need a much more active form of meditation than what we're doing. I knew I loved him. I knew he loved me. I knew he wasn't rejecting me, but I felt booted out. I knew that wasn't true, but I knew that maybe he was right. So then I found Qigong, worked with that for a while. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that, I had a chance to go to India. And I looked at all the traditions I'd studied, all 7 traditions that I had studied, and tried to find a workshop in India. And then couldn't find any, and talked with my friend from India that I was going to travel with. And he said, talk with his friend. So I called his friend. He said, try Guru, his outfit. I said, well, I already tried them. They don't have any workshops. And this guy said, you don't need a workshop. Just go there. So I did, and I was staying in the executive part of it, which was $25 a night. And I tried to see this Sadhguru guy. I was told he was upstairs talking to people. And so I waited, gave up, and walked to my room. And I'd opened my door, was about to walk in, and I'd been told that there'd be two guys in saffron robes who would walk out of the room, and Sadhguru would be behind them. So suddenly that happened up on the second floor, on the open walkway. I was astonished, and so I bowed to him, and he bowed to me. And when I straightened myself, he was already walking away. But I had just read something from his book, in which he said, if I bow to someone, I know them before and after. I know them, all their past lives, all their future lives, which I'd read without it making any sense to me because I didn't know anything about prior lives. I woke up the next morning and I realized something's changed. Something's begun. And after 5 days of not eating, I walked down to the open air restaurant and had the experience I described to you, where I was looking at all these people and I couldn't find any boundary to myself. As you said, I seemed to have disappeared, only I had become one with everything. And then I heard a voice that said to me, Tom, you have to respect these people, they're individuals. And that deeply startled me, because I knew that voice. That voice was what told me to stop remembering what happened in the dark time. So I tried to move back into that space. I had just popped out of it, no differentiation. I couldn't, so I just sat there for an hour or more memorizing. Later in another 3 or 4 day workshop, I had this out-of-body experience. That was the point of the workshop, was to help people do that. There were 750 people participating and 250 people volunteering, a big room. And I remember we did an induction. I remember that. I remember there was loud music going on. And I remember when he said, okay, if you would like, go ahead and have an out-of-body experience. And I thought, no, thank you. And then pretty soon I was gone. What was really weird was I'm lying there, just at one point I thought, well, should I come out of this? I thought, no, okay, I'll wait. And suddenly there was a forceful thump on my forehead. And I was startled and frightened, and my eyes popped open, and Sadhguru had just thumped me with his finger between my eyelids, between my eyebrows. And I was just trembling. I was so astonished that he would be going around to all 750 people and thumping them like that. I was just astounded with that, filled with gratitude. When I sank back down. And then there were people around me rubbing on me. They were rubbing on my legs and my arms. It occurred to me, wow, that takes at least 4 people. I thought, well, wait a minute, there aren't enough volunteers to do that for 750 people. And I opened my eyes. And instead of 1,000 people in the room, there were maybe 20 or 30 people. Everybody else had already left. What had happened during that time was the dark experience I told you about. No seeing, no hearing, no smelling, no feeling. The only thing was that at one point there was this momentary experience where there was this half woman, half tiger that rushed at me, ready to devour me. was intending to devour. And I observed that with 2 fingers, I did that. Although, of course, I didn't move at all. And I caught her just under the chin and threw her over my shoulder. And there was no disturbance in me with that. It was just what happened. And then back to when I was awakened and they rubbed my arms and legs. And finally I got up and walked outside and I was just almost delirious. I had no idea what was going on. And people kept coming up to me. I'd say 90% of the people there were from India. And they kept coming up to me and they said, "You're the man who didn't wake up. What happened?" Didn't know what to say. Finally, one young man came up to me again, and each time one person would ask, 20 people would form a circle around me. Finally, one more asked and said, I'll answer your question, but could you tell me what you observed? Were you there? And he said, yes, I was sitting about 20 feet behind you. And I noticed that when everybody got up, you didn't wake up. There were 4 people like that. There were 2 women and 2 men. And Sadhguru went to the 2 women first, and then he came to you. And he waved his hand in front of your face, and you didn't respond. So he thumped you between the eyes. I gradually, over the next few days at the retreat, kind of came back.
Are you done?
Yes, I'm done.
Thank you.
If you have any observation, I would welcome it deeply.
Those kinds of experience happen throughout one's sadhana. But each time it's different. And the period of experience these things may last 3 months, 6 months, or happen just once. And they seem important at the time. But the explanation is you're really just learning how to relax and accept yourself. The pain remitting during those momentary experiences of nothingness or becoming everything, or all of those kinds of experiences are sort of like signs you're on the right track. But if you're getting them after 20 or 30 years, you say, well, what the fuck? When is this going to end? Have you been having them recently?
Well, I don't have a wish that it would end. Yes, what I found was first time I sat with you in this manner, I found that I could go back to the emptiness.
Good.
And a number of times in our meditations together, I've had that same experience. Matter of fact, the one favorable thing to me about retiring, I've been still working. I'm a clinical psychologist, psychophysiologist, but I've been still working clinically. The one thing favorable about it is it gives me a chance to allow things to happen over a longer period of time.
No.
I have people relying on me, 30 to 50 people relying on me. I can't go into weeks and months of retreat in that, with that contract still going. So I look forward to that.
What's that?
In that regard, I look forward to retirement. I'm impatient.
Retirement is a really good thing. It should happen to everybody. Even better, to never start a career.
Yeah. I was blessed. I was able to do something that I dearly love. It's astonishing to be able to be with people as they change.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, really, for being in my life.
Thank you for being in mine and ours. Claudine, what's going on with you?
I was
You have
hoping.
periods of being agitated and periods of being absolutely still.
I'm very tired, so I kind of go unconscious, and then I wake up, and then I get a lot of hot flushes. So I'm taking my clothes off and putting them on again, and it's a lot of physical things. I mean, I have tried to sit twice today already, but I tend to go unconscious a lot of the time.
Does that mean you go to sleep?
It doesn't feel like sleep. It feels
Okay.
like being unconscious. There seems to be a difference. I don't know whether it's sleep. It looks
What
like
do you
sleep.
experience when you go unconscious?
Nothing.
Do you have that dropping sensation?
Well, I go down. I was actually thinking the other day I'd ask you, because when you talk about it, you stop at the stomach. And I'm wondering if there's a reason for not going lower. Is it best to stop at the stomach than going any lower down in lower?
In the final evaluation, it doesn't mean any difference, doesn't make any difference. It's just the set exercises that are meant to have you have certain kinds of experiences. But if you can have it drop down to your knees, that'd be good to have.
Oh.
And you can tell other people about it.
No, I was thinking more of the in the torso, down in the reproductive area. I used to do that because I used to have pains down there, but I don't seem to have had any. Where have you gone? Pains recently. So I haven't done it very much. I used to just.
It doesn't really matter what you experience in those things because they'll repeat as long as you continue to do the meditation. And you never learn anything from them. But over a period of time, there's accumulation of the relaxation over your entire being. And this is the point that is so absolutely important, is after a while, those things stop. All those meditation experiences stop. And you finally realize your base state. I call it the zero state. But it's a state of very poised restfulness. And after a while, that grows into a recognition of that being your beingness, what your alive body, what your alive brain feels when it's resting. And I take that as being sort of like the zero state. It's not, there's no final things. There's no final unfolding. As long as you keep doing it, you'll have different kinds of experiences even if you've been doing it for 40 years. But pay them no heed, the individual experiences. They're to be had and then to let go of and not attempt to repeat again. That's one thing that a lot of spiritual students experience, is a need to repeat some peak experiences they had earlier in life that they think are so dramatic that they want to repeat them again and again and again. And almost never does that same state come back.
I don't have that problem, really. I haven't had any peak experiences. So I'm just so relieved to be able to sit, because I've been going through a very emotional upset in my life. And it's just such a relief to be able to meditate.
Oh, good.
The outside pain and anger gets to be really too much. So
Tell me about your anger.
I don't know what I do without having found you, really. It's sort of just
Tell me about your anger. How do you
I'm
experience it?
feeling very angry today, but yesterday I was. I think it's kind of a bit. I feel like betrayal, like I've been betrayed or abandoned, and kind of.
How do you feel that? How do you experience that?
Well, if there's somebody there, I start to talk about it. But if I'm on my own, then I sit. Then I sit. I cry. I end up crying. I cry a lot. I get so upset. I can't do anything else. And then I feel a lot better because the toxins come out in my tears. And I can feel quite ill as well. Like today, it feels like I've got flu all the time. But which I haven't today, if I started crying, probably I'd start to feel well again. That's what I've noticed, that I can start to feel much better from the poisons coming out in the tears.
Shall I make you feel angry?
You? No, you haven't tried that one on me yet. No, and I've been getting very annoyed with other gurus. I kind of gone off gurus, and I like you because you don't behave like a guru. You just take us into our own connection. I don't have to kind of worship you or follow your path, or people, they seem to teach you the way they've been rather than, and then you have to find someone who's, I don't know, I've been quite angry about that as well, because they take people from you. Well, they have in my life. It appears to be that way, that people get so totally obsessed with somebody that they prefer to be with a guru rather than the people who've loved them all their lives. I'm a woman. Maybe it's because I'm female. I don't know. I wouldn't leave someone I don't think I'd leave someone to be with a guru. But maybe that's not true. Maybe I would. But I know a lot of people seem to do that. They leave their wives and their whatever and go off for years and years with a guru. And the gurus aren't always as amazing as you thought they were going to be. They're all, having sex with all their, devote, whoever they are, their followers. And I get quite upset by it all. I think I've been aware that you've pointed it out. I haven't been with you very long, but you've pointed it out 2 or 3 times. And I sort of checked on people I knew before and been really quite horrified. And now it's very difficult to trust anybody except myself. And I don't know anything. So
There's no need to know anything.
no, well, I've forgotten everything I knew.
It's very good. And that you can trust yourself is very, very good.
Yeah. Even if I don't know anything, it seems better to trust myself than somebody.
I don't know anything.
Oh, good.
And I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I'm a dumbass now. And I come and talk, and it's bullshit. It's chatter. It's like I've spent 300 years doing this, and I tell you some of the things that happened during these 300 years, and then I just make up a conclusion, do this, do that, something like that. You take it or leave it. Just does it resonate? If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't too. But just do that with your own life. Watch yourself and feel yourself. Don't try to understand it. Don't try to change it. Just be aware. And the more you can do this, the more things that happen to you, each one adds up to freedom, where you feel free of any concepts. You feel free of any relationship. You feel free of everything, but you still engage in them because you want to.
Yeah.
It's not because you have to.
I kind of like being with ordinary people now. I mean, not spiritual people. I sort of, they seem to be often more principled. I like the people who deliver things to my door.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
very
going to do.
grateful to be able to sit with you.
What's that?
I'm very happy and grateful to be able to come and sit here.
Well, thanks. Thank you much that you enjoy our company.
And everybody here. So
I'm going to do something different. I'm going to call somebody who never speaks to respond. Vesselina, what do you think of what she just said?
I feel I found a lot of similarities with what I feel and go through, and what Claudine was saying, especially that when you have emotions that go through you, you feel like you're ill, or you got some cold. That happens to me a lot too, when I have some emotional work to do. And then I guess it's easier for me to get along with normal people too, like people that don't know anything about spirituality. Because some of the spiritual people think they know too much.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I wanna.
They think their shit doesn't stink.
I guess I am like that too, you know? I always think that I know better than someone else. Oh, sorry.
Keep going.
Yeah, it is. I feel like, once you start to explore yourself, you have that attitude that, I don't know, I lost my thought.
Can you catch it? Can you catch a different thought? How do you feel right this moment?
I feel good because I'm here in satsang, and I feel more space around all the problems and worries that I hold inside of me. So I feel much more space, and I'm not so bothered by a lot of things that hurt me normally.
Yeah.
And but it's hard to hold that feeling after satsang. I mean, after a day or two.
Don't try to hold on to it. It'll go by itself. It'll come back by itself, or a different one will come. Never try to go back to a previous experience and get it. So many people do. They have what they consider to be a big experience in their life of some sort, like meditation or feeling God or feeling nothingness or something like that. And they want to repeat it over and over again because it was so unusual from their perspective. But all kinds of things happen to you all the time when you practice meditation, all kinds of things and experiences. And you get really used to living in a different world from everybody else and talking about it. Like, you don't think it's strange anymore because other strange people have experiences all the time also. I've practiced over 60 years, well over 60 years. I've been with dozens of teachers. Some stand out in me, like Mount Baldy experience with, who the hell's at Mount Baldy? My memory is gone too. Who's at Mount Baldy, Mark?
I do not know. It's not Sun San Sanim, is it? But he was another one, wasn't he?
Sansanim? Yeah, I think it
Sasaki.
is. Who?
Sasaki.
Oh, that's Sasaki Roshi. Yeah, the little guy. I remember he came up to here on me. I was running along the path along with my friend. We had been out shoveling. We were going back to get warm in the house. And he was on the trail and he saw these two big Westerners rushing towards him. And he moved very quickly to get off the trail, like we would not see him and go right through him. He thought we were that unconscious, I guess. Maybe we were. Sasaki was a hoot. I don't know whether he's still alive. I think he died just a few months ago, or a year, within the last year. But he was remarkable. I love the tricks he pulled. Like he had these large robes. I forget what color. I think they were black. And when you'd come into the meditation hall is on one level, but you have to walk up a path uphill to the Sanzen house, where you prepare to hear his bell, which calls you into his house for Dokusan, where you meet, and he works on your koan and so forth. And I was trying to tell you something funny about it, but fuck it. He's dead now, I guess. I don't know who's taken his place, but of all of the teachers I've been with, he impressed me the most as having it. And it's hard to say what it is because he was so different from the other Zen gurus, Zen teachers. It was like he was in a different world. The Zen kind of teachers are really unique. The three pillars of Zen guy, three pillars of Zen, Keplo was a teacher. He became a teacher too, but not a big one. He never wanted to do much. But there was Sasaki he had something about him. An immense little body, he had this immense energy, this personality that was so big. Maizumi Roshi, I wondered about him. How did he get to be a guru? And it was a family thing with him. He was the seventh generation priest in his family. And he started one of the first Zendos in the United States, in California. And I was with him, and he really impressed me. But a lot of the others didn't impress me. He was one that impressed me. I can't think of any others that impressed me. But they could come to me soon. I like this style of bringing other people in and hearing their points of view and feeling, I guess, an opportunity to speak about what's going on with them. I usually did that when we were in-person groups in Los Angeles or earlier in Cleveland. What do you think of it? Mark says, fuck it. Just-
I think it's good, Ed. It takes the pressure off you, and it's more informal and friendlier, so I like it. Some good responses today.
Jay, how are you doing?
Well, I'm glad you didn't call on me before, Tom, because I would have cooked up some bullshit and I would have sat here having really not experienced a whole lot. You and Tom were the closest to you and Steve Eckert, really an invited dance. It took my breath away. Tom, I love you. Your journey, your intent, what you brought today, I'm astonished in absolute wonderment. You're a way shower. Your dissolution point is somewhere in the Sangha with such abiding love that I'm just crushed. And I think, Edgy, you stumbled on something today. Claudine did it to me also. Vesselina always does it. And I know Bernadette and Chris always do it. But today was a gift to end 2023 with this Shakti Pat Sadhana, your darshan, you're my beloved, Edgy, and the Sangha, explosive, crumbled, crushed. I'm done. I'm gone, and I love you all.
Jay, did you ever replace your cat?
No, not yet.
Are you going to?
I'm
Do you
4
worry
months young.
But to the cat?
I'm 4 months younger than you. I would have to get I'd have to get a rescue. I don't want to, a cat go 26 years and I'm in the hereafter, like whatever, some fucking
Something to think about.
Feeding it from another dimension, whatever, I'm making it up now. So I loved my little girl. She was just my soulmate. And right now, these moments that you come here and that your intent and your love of us demonstrated just in waves. I'll leave it at that. Otherwise, I'll just fucking go off the rails again. So I love you.
I love you too, Jay. You're unique.
What?
You're unique. But I think at your age, it's really hard to get a new cat because that there's going to be a time when you part, probably because you die.
Yeah.
And what happens to the cat then?
I don't give a shit at that point. But
Yes, you do. You worry about it. I worry about it. I won't get any new cats.
There was something about Robert Adams toward the end of his life, and I think on his last words were freedom, freedom, freedom.
Yes.
And
yes.
It was something between Nisargadatta and Ramana Maharshi that Nisargadatta seemed to think that this is a food sack and that you have to have a body to be able to have consciousness. and that even consciousness is temporary. And so
Yes.
my point is dead is dead. If you're fucking dead, you don't know anything. You're not what you were before you were born. So this idea, it seemed like, not that Robert would ever get trapped conceptually, but what we've said about what this is, whether or not it's an illusion, it still has isness. And what Robert basically said, I am not the body, I am not the doer, I am not the mind. I am choiceless, effortless, pure awareness. And that's
Yes.
heavy shit. That's really like, you know, I mean, I don't even need an open book test to pass that one. I'll get that right. But
Good
the
for
thing,
you.
just going back to the thing, I think that basically we're danced, as I said, and it's simply the play of God, but in it and the grace of it is just maybe not to take this thread and go any further with it. Just put it down. I mean, I just need to let go, and you allow me to do that, and you help me to do that, and so dumb as a rock, you know. I mean, that is the manifestation of God's love, and you are the manifestation of God's love in my
So
life.
are you.
I love you.
So are you.
Thank you. I love you so much.
Thank you. Okay. I can't think of any more bullshit to push at you guys today. So I guess I turned it over to you to push bullshit back at me. And you all recognize it's bullshit both ways. That the words do not contain any meaning whatsoever that helps you in any way. What helps you is finding that peace, finding that relaxed body, being able to let go, not have to fill in the gap in any conversation or thinking. Freedom from the bullshit. You don't have to keep doing it on and on and on. Because here we're with people that really don't know what the fuck's going on, and they've realized it. They don't know what's going on. Nobody does. We make it up that we pretend to know what's going on. We talk about the afterlife and before life, and don't let them bullshit you. They can only pass on to you what they've learned and what they've been taught. And what's been taught to them has to be tossed out. So it's only their point of view in them there. There's no longer any ghosts in them. There's no longer any ghosts in you of the past or past relationships. And you're free to walk any way you want on your whim. And you're free. You're free. Now, Robert, I'll tell you, was a really, really different person. He wasn't there even when he was there. At satsang, he was there as a voice. But he tried all the time to talk and keep conversations going because he thought it meant something to us to receive his darshan. But he knew it was all bullshit. It's something we have to go through and then we die. And who knows what happens then? I really don't think I'm going to be aware or reborn or anything like that. That's too much to believe. I don't remember anything prior to my birth. And now I don't remember anything that will happen to me after death. But I'm happy. I'm happy. I don't care anymore. I don't grasp onto things I have to know now and to experience. I'm done. I'm burnt out. I'm a dead cinder. Thank you for your contribution today, Veselina. I'm glad you joined in. Anyway, see you Wednesday if I remember. I have to get a clock that tells both the time and the date and the day of the week, so I know when Wednesday and Sunday are here. Take care. I love you all. Go forth and sin.